to true crime with strategic eyes.
Strategic back again. Yes. You guys see my voice is coming back, man, ever so slowly. When I talk too much, it'll probably start going away as we move forward with this show. But I at least had enough to give you a proper intro, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited. All right, now we do have a very sad case for us to cover. I'm happy that my voice is coming back, but I'm not happy about the case that we're covering. Now, I have not covered this case because every time I wanted to jump on this case, something else popped up in the ether that I felt needed my coverage, all right? So now I think we kind of got a little downtime with the D4VD and giving a voice to Celeste, and, you know, that case is still happening and some things are still coming out, but I want to wait until we have a substantial amount of things before we revisit it so we can give you guys a whole bunch of updates on D4VD. So I think we now have the space to cover Laken Snelling. And this is a really sad case because this young woman is a senior at a really good school, University of Kentucky. She had her whole life ahead of her, ladies and gentlemen. She had a whole life ahead of her. And it appears that she got pregnant. And for whatever reason, because I don't think anybody knows her motive right now, her baby died in her custody, some way, somehow. As I'm doing my research on this case, there's so many different things, political things that are coming about because in Kentucky, there is no abortion in Kentucky. So there's a lot of people saying, well, maybe she was forced to carry a baby to term that she didn't want. Then I said to myself, well, what about her hometown of Tennessee? Well, guess what? Same deal. No options for abortion. But I got to say this. Regardless of what you think, what your politics may be, or even what your view on morality, because for some people, these issues are an issue of morality. Once that child is born, that child deserves the respect of being treated with dignity. So I don't know why Laken chose to do what she did. She did have options in Kentucky. Actually, when I looked it up, and with the help of the research crew, Kentucky actually has one of the most liberal, I should say, child abandonment laws out there, meaning that up to 3 years old, you can drop your child off at a designated area and not be held accountable for dropping that child off. For most states in America, you only got 2 weeks after the birth of the child. Kentucky gives you 3 years. 3 years to give your child away. I mean, by that time, the kid is walking and talking like, mommy, daddy, mommy. And one day you're like, hey, let's take a trip to the firehouse. Hey, we're going to go to the hospital. You need a checkup. Okay, mommy, thank you. And then you're like, you wait right here. And then you gone. And there's like a firefighter or a cop or a doctor like, hey, young one, mommy, daddy is not coming back. 3 years. 3 years. She could have gave birth to the kid. As we're going to find out, it appears that this baby was born alive. She could have simply brought this child to the designated drop-off areas that are located in every community all about that state. And she could have just walked away and never said anything about it. Nobody would ever had to know she gave birth to a child. Obviously, she hid the pregnancy for so long, she could have just walked away. She could have went to a hospital and got the services that she needed, the afterbirth service, the aftercare service, giving the baby the same help that baby need. Gone to the hospital. Hey, I just gave birth. Do everything she was supposed to do to ensure her own personal safety as well as the safety of that child. She chose differently. And understand, guys, when it comes to a baby that's brand spanking new, brand new, it doesn't take much for that child to lose their life. It doesn't take much, ladies and gentlemen, because babies are born, their body temperature is not being properly regulated. They're expected to be fed. They're expected to receive comfort and heat and care. And if you don't give that to a child immediately after birth, that child is already on the downward slope of losing its life. So we're going to jump into this. It's a real sad case, but I got to be honest with you. It's not just my advocacy for children that makes me say this. It's common sense and it's just pure adulting. If you're going to do adult things, you have to be prepared for adult consequences. And one of those things might be getting pregnant. And if you get pregnant and you give birth to a child, you got to put your big girl pants on just like that man has to put his big boy pants on. And you got to do what's necessary to ensure the safety of that child, whether that's taking care of the child and becoming a parent or taking advantage of the very, very generous, I think too generous, laws of Kentucky that allow you to give up a child up to 3 years old. Laken had options. Laken chose the wrong solutions for the problems that she helped create. And so now Laken is going to have to face justice because guess what? That Jane Doe, John Doe baby deserves justice, deserves their voice to be heard. So let's get into this, guys. Big shout out to the research crew, did a really hard job putting this together, and we appreciate you guys. And let's get into it. I don't think we're going to have any Aki today. So I ended up, I'm like, hey, I'm about to go live. And she's like, oh, I'm watching MJ on Broadway, the Michael Jackson Broadway show. So, the moderators is going to join us. They're going to be doing double duty because the queen of moderation is taking a break. Big shout out to everybody who's joined us. Big shout out to all the green names inside of the chat. Those are the members. You are loved and you are appreciated. Big shout out to Jamie MP with a $2 super chat. Starting off with the super chats. Appreciate you, Jamie. Let's keep going.
Got those new records from the court within the last hour. They include several new details about this case. The biggest one, though, is that Snelling told medical staff she believed her baby was alive at the time of his birth. We do want to warn you, though, some viewers may find these details disturbing. Now, the affidavit we obtained says Snelling told...
So she said it out her own mouth that she believed that the baby was alive when she gave birth. She gave that spontaneous utterance out. It's totally admissible in court, by the way. Let's keep going.
Old police.
Because I believe at the time, they didn't know whether she was a suspect of doing something wrong. They're just trying to get that historical data from her. And she said it. Let's keep going.
She gave birth at 4 a.m. At that time, she said she didn't believe the baby was alive. Snelling said she later passed out, falling on top of the baby. And when she woke up, the baby turned blue and purple. Wow. At that time, the affidavit says Snelling believed the baby was dead, wrapped him up, and laid next to him on the floor, something she said gave her comfort in that moment.
This is the thing, right? You give birth to the child. You pass out, right? She gives birth at home. Nobody could dispute that there's a possibility she could pass out. This is like she actually laid out the perfect excuse for her crime if there was a crime committed. She laid it out. Nobody could dispute what she's saying. She gave birth at home, no support, no nothing, no depot shot in the back to deal with the pain, none of that. She pushed that baby out natural. And she said she passed out on the baby. And when she woke up, the baby was smothered. But this is where she messes up. She should have just called 911. Instead, she wraps the baby up like a piece of trash, puts the baby in a garbage bag, and then stores the baby inside of her closet. That's where she messes up. If she'd have just called the cops at that moment, there's a good chance her story could have been believed. It's a good chance. But it's always the cover-up that's worse than the actual crime. Let's keep going.
We know from Snelling's arrest citation the baby was found wrapped in a towel in a garbage bag inside a closet. Now, these documents say she admitted to police that she cleaned up and put the baby in that closet. After this, Snelling says she went to school but didn't go to class. She later went to UK's student clinic but didn't go inside. The affidavit says she then went home where she was later detained by Lexington police. She was then taken to police headquarters and later to UK hospital, where it says she told staff the baby displayed some fetal movement, including a whimper.
Wow.
A search warrant of Snelling's phone showed searches pertaining to pregnancy, including photos of
fetal movement, including a whimper. That baby was born alive. and she knew she was pregnant. And I'm pretty sure she got no neonatal care, or it's not neonatal, but no care, whatever. We got mothers in the chat. You guys help me out. I'm just a man. What is the care that you get while you're pregnant? She didn't get none of that. The vitamins that mommy was popping like she was popping pills every day for all 3 of our kids. Prenatal, there we go. Prenatal care. Neonatal is when you inside of the baby's born and inside that ward. Prenatal care. Thank you, chat. See, that's what I love. I got mostly women who watch my show. Women are wise, so they always got the answers for me. Best chat on YouTube. Big shout out. Guys, hit that like button. Support the channel. Everybody who's watching this chat right now. Trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. We got less than 1,000 to go before we get to 100,000. When we do get to 100,000, we're going to do a special show where we're going to hang out together. We're going to have some prizes, probably give away some money, all of that stuff, man. I'm going crazy. Actually, I should buy some merch. I'm going to give merch away. I'm going to give money away. CashApp. It's gonna be beautiful. So let's get to 100,000 subscribers so we can have a grand old time with each other. Anyway, bottom line is, she wasn't doing none of that, but she knew she was pregnant. There are some instances where women don't even know that they're pregnant, especially young girls who don't know what being pregnant is supposed to be like. When we have those abuse situations where we actually either have a neglected child that's engaging in intercourse with their peers, or a child who actually being abused by an adult, they get pregnant, they don't even know that they're pregnant sometimes. She knew she was pregnant. She was looking it up on her phone. She knew exactly what she was doing. It's very sad that she did not wake up, smell the roses, and decide, I'm doing adult things, so I have to put my big girl pants on and start taking responsibility for my actions. You want to get it? You want to get that? It's fun. It feels good, but you don't want to do it responsibly, where you don't get pregnant, take birth control, use condoms, all that good stuff. These are the things that are going to happen. And when they happen, you have to step up to the plate and do the right thing, because now a beautiful little soul has been extinguished because of the negligence of her mother. Let's keep going.
Her during labor and, quote, concealed or hidden pregnancy. The affidavit says some of the photos of labor were deleted, which Lexington police, leads them to believe, quote, other items could have also been deleted in an attempt to hide any evidence of the pregnancy, birth, and newborn baby. Now, this affidavit was attached to a request for a search warrant for Snelling's iCloud. It does also note that iCloud account is shared with Snelling's mother. Live in Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
That's interesting that they share the iCloud. There's not going to be a lot of privacy there. But what that's going to do is make her sneakier on how she gets things done. Big shout out to Abby Blabby. Abby Blabby was able to get the actual court documents. Here they are here. We're not going to read through them because we kind of got the synopsis from that report that we just watched. Just want to let you guys know they do exist. They are there. We'll go ahead and get them ourselves, and then we'll post them on the Patreon for free. Remember, you should be a member of my Patreon whether you want to pay for exclusive content or not. It's free to join the Patreon. Of course, when I drop an exclusive video, you will not be able to watch it if you're a free member. But I do drop court documents that I get for free on Patreon. Some court documents that I pay for, we're going to have that for paid members of the Patreon. But the majority of court documents that I get are for free, so they're there. So that's a place where you don't have to search on your own. Of course, you go search on your own, you can find it. But that's a place where you don't have to search on your own, where I'll do the work for you. And when I get them for free, I'm a man of my word. I respect my audience, and that's why I ask my audience to always show me the respect that I give back in return. You best believe that material is going to be for free on the Patreon. So you make sure that you're joining that Patreon, because that's a great source of information, whether you want that extra content, you want to pay for that or not. If you don't have that money, still join the Patreon for free, because you'll get stuff that very probative to the cases that we're talking about. Let's keep going. This is a search warrant. This is in support of the search warrant, basically going to lay out the case and why they need to search the particular items. Like, well, we think that there's going to be evidence in the iCloud, so we need the iCloud. We think there's evidence going to be inside of her dorm room because the baby was found inside of the closet, so we think there might be forensic evidence. Basically, search warrants are you convincing the judge to basically waive your Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights, basically. That's basically what it is. Having the judge waive your search and seizure so that we could go in there and look through your stuff, basically. All right, let's get to it. University of Kentucky cheerleader charged in connection to infant's death. I'm kind of new to this myself, so we're going to explore this ourselves. Like, I've seen this, I've heard a little bit about it, read a little bit about it, but I didn't deep dive into it. So today I'm really kind of getting deep into it. We're going to go on this journey together. Let's keep going.
Laken Snelling entering a courtroom Tuesday in downtown Lexington.
Laken Snelling.
Standing next to attorney Brandon Marshall, Snelling entered a plea of not guilty at a 1 p.m. arraignment. The 21-year-old was arrested by Lexington police, charged with abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. According to an arrest citation, officers were called to her home last Wednesday after a dead newborn was found hidden in a closet. The citation says the infant was found wrapped in a towel inside of a black trash bag. Also, according to the citation, after being
real quick, officers were dispatched to the listed suspect address regarding a deceased infant being located inside a closet. Infant was located wrapped in a towel inside of a black trash bag. The listed offender was Mirandized and interviewed and admitted to giving birth. Furthermore, the listed suspect admitted to concealing the birth by cleaning any evidence, placing on all cleaning items used inside of a black trash bag, including the infant who was wrapped in a towel. In the process of cleaning the evidence of the birth, the listed suspect tampered with said evidence that proved she had given birth by wrapping the infant in a towel and placing it inside of the black trash bag. The listed suspect treated the corpse in a way that would outrage ordinary family sensibilities. Very true. Now, my question is, because some of you guys have been following this from day one, how did they find out that the baby was actually in the closet? Who's the one who notified law enforcement that that was the case? Keep going.
being interviewed by officers, Snelling admitted to giving birth and to concealing the birth by cleaning any evidence, placing all cleaning items used in
Obsidian said that the roommates found it. Diabolical. Diabolical. Think about that. As a roommate, going into that closet, opening up that bag, maybe because it smelled, maybe you were just curious, whatever it may be, and boom, you find a deceased baby in there. Man, life-changing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going.
inside of a black trash bag, including the infant, who was wrapped in a towel. After being arrested, she was in the Fayette County Detention Center until yesterday, posting a $100,000 bond.
Yo, this is the thing with y'all ladies, man, that kills me. Where's the picture at? I gotta find this picture. You guys, I think women have become transformers. Transformers, robots in disguise. Look at I gotta save this. I can't show you guys this from this. I'm gonna download it right now to show you guys how you ladies are talented at cleaning up. This is her in her mugshot. This is her cleaned up. Do they even look similar? That's her in the mugshot. This is her cleaned up. Women are transformers, man. Like us guys, when we ugly, we just ugly. Like you wake up next to this ugly mug in the morning time when I go to work, still got this ugly mug on. When I'm working, ugly mug on. Go to sleep, ugly mug on. Wake up in the morning, ugly mug on. Y'all ladies got different faces for different occasions. Like, damn. Let's keep going.
According to a court document, now on home incarceration with no ankle monitor, Snelling is on house arrest. at her parents' home in Tennessee.
Just make sure you're abiding by those terms.
Snelling, a member of the UK stunt team the last 3 seasons, will now appear in court again September 26th.
Like even here, she dolled up on in the court. All right, so this is a coroner's report. Let's zoom in on this bad boy. The Fayette County Coroner's Office is investigating following death. I'm not sure if the final report came out, but infant Snelling, male. Oh, it's a little boy. Age 0. Never even had a chance. Never even had a chance. Age 0. Now, Laken, let me not get off course. Whatever. Never even had a chance. Preliminary autopsy has been completed. The findings are inconclusive. They don't know how the baby died. Extensive microscopic analysis are essential to determine the cause and manner of death. Currently undetermined matter of death. Circumstances, I understand the community's concern and sensitivity surrounding the death of a child. This death affects many lives in our neighboring state of Tennessee, as well as those in the Commonwealth. We are currently conducting a thorough and methodical death investigation to ensure all facts are carefully considered. This death investigation remains open pending the results of these studies. There is no additional information that can be released at this time. There will be updates as our death investigation continues. Please keep the family and friends as well as the University of Kentucky friends in your thoughts and prayers. Gary W., Fayette County Coroner. Now, let me tell you something, guys. Something like you guys know that I'm not in the business of helping perpetrators. But in this situation, if Laken Snelling did not speak to police, if she requested an attorney, she might not face a homicide or a manslaughter charge, because it doesn't appear that they're, at this time at least, able to determine how the baby passed away. If she'd have got an attorney, she could have just told the attorney that the baby was born, stillborn, and it would be hard to disprove that. And then the only thing that she would face would be, the desecration of the corpse, kind of put, so to speak. Because she spoke to police and told them that the baby was alive when it was born, that hurts her. Because even though they can't determine how the baby died, they can say for a fact, based off of her words and her testimony, that the baby was alive. If the baby was alive, and then she also said that she basically killed the baby by smothering the baby while she was passed out. She hurt herself. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. If the prosecutor wanted, they could still go and leverage this case in her favor. Because once again, she says she passed out. So if you wanted to believe that story, giving birth, it could have been an accidental death. They don't necessarily, just off of her story, they don't necessarily have to charge her with some type of manslaughter or negligent homicide or something to that effect. But by telling that story to police and giving that Mirandized statement, she put herself in a hole. She pigeonholed herself. She really hurt her case. Her silence would have basically maybe guaranteed the most she would have gotten was charged with putting the baby in a closet, because she has no criminal record and she's a college student and she's involved in the college. I could see where they would pretty much either drop those charges and let her go scot-free, or work out a deal where if she was staying out of trouble for a year, all her criminal charges would have been wiped off of her record. If they believed that the baby was stillborn or could not prove that the baby was not stillborn. The reason why Laken is going through all the stuff she's going through right now is because she told the cops the baby was alive. So they're trying to figure out if she killed the baby. That's why she's going through all the stuff she's going through right now. There's very few DAs in America would want to throw a girl of her stature, and I'm just talking about the fact that she's a up until this point, appeared to be a law-abiding citizen and a college student and a cheerleader and all the all-American things that we would associate with being an all-American teen or young adult, early 20s. There's no prosecutor in America who would want to destroy her life if they believe that she gave birth to a stillborn baby. The baby never had a chance, was born dead, and then she panicked and put the baby in a garbage bag and put the baby in a closet. They would work a deal out with her. Guarantee you they would work a deal out. But her statement is what has her in the position she's in right now. Guarantee you it's her statement that did her in. She should have asked for an attorney. Let's keep going. So her case is being sent to grand jury now. Let's see what's going on. Let's get up to speed. This is old stuff, guys. We're catching up. Remember, I have not followed this case. So we're going to get to the new stuff. All right, we're going to get to the new stuff, but I'm catching up. I need to know these things, and we're going on this journey together. Let's do it.
Lexington, Laken Snelling, the woman facing multiple charges, including trying to hide the birth of an infant, appeared in court this morning for a preliminary hearing.
The hearing was brief, but we've learned what's next for the case. Bossy Prokos joins us live outside the Fayette County District Courthouse with what to expect ahead of her court appearance in the future.
Good morning, guys. Well, Laken Snelling appeared in court for less than 5 minutes, but we have learned that the case against her is heading to a grand jury. Now, in the hearing, Snelling's attorney opted.
Quick question for you fine people. How's the sound? How's the sound? And big shout out to Art Deco with a $5 super chat. Says, have her parents said anything yet? Not to my knowledge, but once again, I am catching up with this case because I plan on following this case. I think it's interesting. Really appreciate the research crew for saying, hey, you know what, maybe you need to cover this because I was waffling. So once I catch up, that's when we're going to definitely be following this and doing deep dives on a regular basis to make sure that we have all of the up-to-date information. To my knowledge right now, the parents have not made a statement, but I could be wrong. Like I said, we are exploring this together. Apologize for that, but that's how that works. So let's keep going.
To waive the trial to a grand jury. It will be confidential, a confidential hearing where a jury will hear the case and choose to indict her or not. Snelling was arrested back in August in connection to an unresponsive infant on Park Avenue. According to court documents, Snelling allegedly admitted to giving birth and cleaning up any indication that she had. Snelling was charged with the abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. Investigators report that a baby was found wrapped in a towel inside a trash bag in a closet of Snelling's Park Avenue home. A coroner's report notes that the baby was a boy and that the infant's cause of death remains inconclusive. Now, if the grand jury chooses to indict Snelling, they'll have the chance to change or add charges based on the testimony they hear. This is still a developing story, and we will continue to keep you updated both on air and online once we hear or learn more information. Live in Lexington, Bossy Prokos, Fox 56 News. Guys.
All right, let's keep going on this journey, man.
A college cheerleader appears in court after police said they found her newborn baby boy dead in a closet. I'll unpack the very latest on Laken Snelling's case, what happened in court, and what we know about that baby boy's death.
All right, big shout out to Anjanette Levy. This is Anjanette Levy of Law and Crime. We do cover a lot of law and crime. We cover a lot of, what's her name? I want to show her love. She's over here. Here we go. Ashley Bandfield. We cover a lot of them because I look at them as news channels. I don't like to play creators like that because to me, it's like people work hard on, their content. I'm not trying to react to somebody else's content. They're working so hard on it. Only when they have like the goods, like a lot of people with the D4VD, they got the goods. So we're going to play it and we're going to shout them out and make sure everybody knows where to go to get that content. But on this channel, we don't like to react to other creators as much as maybe other channels do. We try and keep it to a minimum, but when it comes to law and crime and court TV and their personalities, I view them as reporters and news sources, and that's why we cover them as much as we do. I just want to throw that out there. So big shout out to law and crime. Let's keep going.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Laken Snelling was in court this morning as she faces charges related to the birth and death of her baby boy. Snelling was a member of the stunt team at the University of Kentucky in Lexington. That basically means she was a cheerleader, but she has withdrawn from the school now that she's facing charges. She's currently out on bail and living with her parents in Tennessee after being charged criminally in connection to the death of her newborn baby boy. This case is not unlike others I've seen over the years. Sadly, back on August 27th, Lexington police received a 911 call from a home, and when they arrived, they found a baby boy wrapped in a towel in a black trash bag in a closet. Can you imagine? Police records say that the baby was cold to the touch, so there was no point in performing CPR. His life could not be saved. The baby had died. But how that baby died at this point remains a question without an answer. Police tracked down Laken Snelling, the baby's mother, and they say she admitted to giving birth to the baby.
What I tell you about these people with the wild eyes, ladies and gentlemen? You guys thought I was joking, like, here's Strategic, cracking jokes. He's from Harlem. All he does is crack jokes on people. Da 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 da. I told you, I don't trust those people with the wild eyes. Look at her eyes. When you got those eyes like you looking into my soul, I run away. I do not trust those eyes, man. She looked nuts. Let's keep going.
And then trying to clean it all up. An incident report claims that Laken asked to be checked out at the police department, so she was taken to the hospital. Laken Snelling was charged with abuse of a corpse, concealing the birth of an infant, and tampering with physical evidence. An autopsy was performed on the baby boy, and it didn't reveal a cause of death. At this point, the cause and manner of death are listed as inconclusive, so it could be 8 to 10 weeks before those toxicology results come back. As far as manner of death goes, there are 5: undetermined, homicide, accidental, natural, and the one where a person dies by their own hands. Laken was very, very active on social media, as many young people are. She shared her life on TikTok. We found a video online of Laken performing cheerleading stunts with her squad. In it, she has a slight bump, but I don't know if you would be able to tell that she was pregnant unless you knew her, or maybe you think she might have put on some weight. So this morning,
you know, I think it was easy for her to hide that pregnancy because she's extremely fit. I never seen this girl before in my life until she made the news. From what she was doing with the cheerleading, you know, she had a 12-pack. She didn't have a 6-pack. She had a 12-pack. And when you're that fit and your muscles are pronounced, the belly is not going to protrude as much. Now, it looks like she had a baby to me, but the baby was not protruding as much as one would think. But she knew she was pregnant. She certainly knew she was pregnant. And she had options. But let's keep going.
Laken Snelling was back in Lexington, Kentucky for a preliminary hearing. That's where prosecutors have to put on enough evidence to meet that low standard of probable cause. And after that, the case goes to a grand jury. This also gives the defense a chance to question witnesses and figure out a little bit more about the case.
Good morning, man. You were Laken Snelling? Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I look very way this.
Man, that judge got wild eyes too, man. I don't trust the judge either, man. I'm about to just stay in my basement, ladies and gentlemen. I'm scared.
Ms. Snelling, you just heard your attorney state that it's your desire to waive this matter to the Fayette County grand jury. You understood you got a right to have a preliminary hearing this morning, but it is your desire to waive this matter at this time.
So Laken Snelling waived her preliminary hearing, meaning she was giving up the right to the hearing so the Commonwealth didn't call any witnesses and her attorney did not get to question them.
Ms. Snelling, you just heard your attorney state that it's your desire to waive this matter to the Fayette County grand jury. You understood you got a right to have a preliminary hearing this morning, but it is your desire to waive this matter at this time. I know that you have posted in...
Natalie Brown says, I got married at 19 and had my first child at 22. What's her excuse again? Well, Natalie, she had to go to cheerleading practice. Sorry, if you were a cheerleader, you'd understand. Let's keep going.
Electronic monitoring, residing with parents, all of that still in place, correct? Okay, all right. So, thank you.
Hey, guys.
Laken Snelling scurried out of court, appearing to avoid any eye contact with the TV cameras. So to discuss the very latest in Laken Snelling's case, I want to bring in Mark Weaver. He works as a prosecutor in the state of Ohio and also just a lawyer in general. So Mark, Laken Snelling walks into court with her lawyer today, avoiding the cameras. That's my opinion, hair kind of like this and not kind of standing by her lawyer and being shielded so she's not on TV a lot. And she waives her preliminary hearing at the advice of her attorney. So explain to me why one would do that, because a lot of times these defense attorneys love a preliminary hearing because then they can really grill the detective or whoever takes the stand and get some info.
Sure. In most states, a preliminary hearing is a step that ensures there's enough evidence before the case goes on to trial. It's a way of getting a case dismissed if there's not enough evidence early on without having to bother with a trial. And law enforcement doesn't love doing it because it allows the defense lawyer, as you mentioned, to put the officers on the stand, ask a bunch of questions. It's almost like the defense lawyers can kick the tires or test the case of the Commonwealth in this case. And so it's rare that you see a defense lawyer waive that. And the best theory is probably that.
I tell you why he waived it. He waived it because she gave a Mirandized statement basically admitting to A, the baby is hers, she was pregnant. B, she gave birth inside of her room. C, she passed out. C, the baby was alive. D, whether she says she passed out, rolled on the baby, and that caused the death of the baby. So she basically admitted to killing a baby. Now, whether you want to label that as an accidental death, a negligent death, a manslaughter, whatever, she admitted to killing the baby. The baby was alive. She laid on the baby. She woke up and the baby was blue. Blue means asphyxiation, lack of oxygen. That's what blue means. All right? What else? What else can you say? I mean, the only thing you can do is to try and get that Mirandized statement thrown out by just doing what defense attorneys typically do and say, well, she was under duress or she wasn't in her right mind. She had just given birth. She lost a lot of blood or she was tired. She was in pain or whatever to kind of try and get her statement thrown out. That's the only thing you can do because she gave a confession. But let's keep going.
This has been a big story in at least 2 states and, of course, nationally on networks like yours. And this lawyer is probably trying to shield this young woman from this very difficult and challenging set of facts, which is either she gave birth and didn't report the birth, which is a Class A misdemeanor in Kentucky, or she abused a corpse, which is a felony, or concealed or tampered with evidence, another felony. What we don't know is whether or not she actually killed the baby, and that's going to require some more testing.
That's correct.
That will require some more testing. And, I think you're right. I think that the defense attorney knows enough already just based on the police report.
How many boyfriends this girl had? They said it was the father, her ex-football player boyfriend, or the current boyfriend. That I never understand, right? Listen. Women and men are equal in my eyes, right? Men are capable of cheating. Women are capable of cheating as well. What I don't understand is, we're not the same. We're equal, but we're not the same, right? So if you know that putting, peepees in your uterus could result in a pregnancy, why do some women, all right, have unprotected sex with multiple men at the same time? That I don't understand. Listen, I'm not judging. Men cheat on women every single day. So I'm not saying that women shouldn't, nobody should be cheating on anybody. But I'm not looking down at somebody who has multiple partners. That's your business. That's your morality. You live your life how you want to. I'm not here to judge you. But why not say, all right, this is my main boyfriend. We're accustomed to having unprotected sex. That's what we're going to do, right? But if you the side dude, you have to use a condom. So now if you do get pregnant, regardless of how unfaithful you are, you know who the father of your child is. I don't understand that. Why let everybody go up in there raw diggity and shoot up the club? And then when you get a baby bump, you kind of like flipping a coin, like, multi-headed dice, because it's like more than two. It's like 20 people. You spinning a dreidel or something to try to figure out who's the daddy. I don't understand, man. You know what? Let's go to the sound effect.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
It don't make no sense to me, man. Come on. Only one person raw diggy at a time, please.
Does that make sense?
Please. Let's keep going.
Reports and what's in the media that he may know what happened. His client may have told him, attorney-client privilege, what happened. Right now, they're saying, it's inconclusive, the baby's cause and manner of death. So they're waiting on toxicology, of course, and what other testing they might be doing. This is wild to me, though. These young women, because this is now the second or third case ever that I've covered, maybe even fourth, actually, that I've covered, where young women give birth on their own, no hospital, no anesthesia.
Yeah, I think we've been getting like we've been getting conned and robbed by these hospitals, because apparently you don't need a hospital to give birth. It's all a con, man. They've been conning us, man. They're getting us for like $10,000 to do something you could just do in your bedroom. No problem. Let's keep going.
Oh my God, what is going on? And then you have to cut the cord and then, deliver the placenta, the whole 9 yards. And then instead of calling for help, you are putting the baby in a towel and in trash, and then hiding it, concealing it. So that's the allegation here. What in the heck is going on? Because the most famous of these cases that I covered was in Warren County, Ohio, Skylar Richardson, years and years ago. She was acquitted at trial of aggravated murder charges, so she's free. But I just can't even imagine doing such a thing. Like that, this takes some major endurance, some major pain endurance, pain tolerance, and some major compartmentalization. As a prosecutor, what are your thoughts?
No, I think you're right. First of all, the Skylar Richardson case, I remember that case well. Very high profile. I represented the judge in that case when there was a lawsuit over his gag order. And in fact, I argued that case to the Ohio Supreme Court. It's been some years now. But I have seen cases like this, as you have, and they're very troubling. We know what's happening here. Young women.
So Calissa Cat says she must have been really scared. Maybe her family would have kicked her out. We don't know. Well, I mean, she wasn't living with her family. She was living off campus. She was an adult. And she's really scared now, because now her family had to put up $100,000 to get her on bail, and she's facing criminal charges. So, I mean, I get it, but, at some point, we got to be adults. And at some point, once again, if you're doing adult things, you're going to have to deal with adult consequences. At some point, she wasn't 18. She wasn't a freshman. She was a senior. She was 21 years old. She was a grown woman. She made choices. I don't know. That's just my take, at least.
Who didn't intend to be pregnant and don't want certain people, whether it's their parents or the father or their friends, to know they're pregnant. Now, you have to be a certain size woman to be able to conceal a pregnancy, right? Somebody who's normally weighs 110 pounds, in 5'6" is not going to conceal a pregnancy. So I don't know enough about this woman to know how she did it, but whether it's clothing or other ways, there's a desire to conceal the pregnancy, which is fine. But when it results in concealing the birth, and in this case, the death of your baby, people need to know. And Kentucky law is such that you have to report it. And I understand the mindset of young people. We were all young once, and there is a childish impulse when you've done something wrong or shameful to want to hide it from your parents. I don't know that's what happened here. But we were talking about the preliminary hearing. Here's something interesting. You were wondering aloud what the evidence was. In most cases, the defense lawyer goes into a preliminary hearing hoping to find out what the Commonwealth, in this case, the prosecutors, know about the case.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the defense lawyer likely knows much more about the case than investigators do, because the person who knows the most is his client,
Right.
Laken Snelling. She knows the most. So if she's been honest with her lawyer, this lawyer knows the most. There probably weren't.
I just want to, now we're talking about defense attorneys. I do want to talk about very quickly. I just want to thank some of you guys in the chat who educated me on the efficacy, and the morality of defense attorneys. In that, I always thought, because I don't deal with defense attorneys, I deal with prosecutors. I chase the perps. I don't really know what happens on their side. I know what their defense attorneys are going to try to do to me on the stand. I'm prepared for that because I've been doing this for a long time. I know they're going to try to tear my case apart, but I've never really spoken to a defense attorney as to how this stuff works. I thought that it's okay for defendants to tell their defense attorney that they did it, and that the defense attorney has to still try and get them off. But I actually spoke to defense attorneys in this training that I'm doing this week. This week, I'm not even doing investigations. This week, I'm doing training. It's a sex crimes refresher course or whatever. It's mandated. We have to do it once a year. It's actually very powerful. It's a little disturbing because, the videos that we watch and the people that we talk to or whatever, and the people who are training us, it's real raw and it's real real. But, I mean, we're in this line of work, so that's what we have to do. Long story short, defense attorneys, if they find out that you are guilty, they will try and work a deal out. They're not going to put you on the stand. And you guys said that in the chat already, but I'm just buttressing it from me speaking to a defense attorney in real life. And they did say that, like, I can't put the person on the stand because I know they're going to lie. They're going to perjure themselves. So we're usually trying to work out some type of plea bargain when we know that our client is guilty. What I also heard is that most of the time, if you tell them that you're guilty, like when they're doing like the initial interview, like, do I want to take your case? They just won't take your case. So if they know that you're a pedophile, most of the time they're not going to take your case. You'll learn by the second or third attorney to say that you're innocent. And then that person might take your case like, okay, well, they said they're innocent. They might take your case, and then they'll try to do their best that they can for you, believing, or at least accepting, not believing, but accepting what you said, that you're innocent of the crime. But most defense attorneys either won't take your case if you tell them outright that you're guilty, or they'll try and work out a deal. So I think most defense attorneys probably would be okay with taking your case if they know you're guilty. If you tell them, listen, I'm guilty of the crime, but I'm looking for somebody to help me get some type of plea bargain, a fair sentence. I think most defense attorneys will take your case if that's your approach. But if you're like, I'm innocent, but you got to get me off of this, they're not going to take your case. I just wanted to throw that out there because I didn't know that. You guys told me exactly what I just regurgitated to you, but I was able to actually speak to a defense attorney who basically buttressed exactly what you guys said. And that's why I got the best audience on YouTube. You guys are really, really on top of it. So many people from different walks of life with so many different experiences, and I do appreciate it. It's a pleasure sharing my time with you guys. Before we get back into this video, guys, please hit the like button, support the channel. We have 197 likes and 36 people watching. We want to get us up to over 200, so please help us out. Hit that like button. Let's keep going.
Witnesses. We'd be surprised if there were witnesses to this. The toxicology nobody has yet. So ironically, at the preliminary hearing, the person with the most knowledge would have been the defense lawyer.
Yeah, very interesting. And I think you're right about that. I mean, he may have signed the retainer agreement and met with his client, and she may have been like, this is what happened. I mean, a lot of defense attorneys have told me they don't ask their clients what happened. Some do. She's a young girl. She's 21. She's a young woman. She's not a girl, but to me, she is a girl. She's a kid. She's in college, right? So I'm just thinking to myself, I just can't even imagine what in the heck was going on. And what's confounding to me is that they said in the police reports that the baby was cold to the touch. So the birth had to have happened relatively soon before the baby was found. But now they're calling this the cause and manner of death inconclusive. They need to wait for toxicology. Does that mean that there were no obvious signs of trauma? And when they do the autopsy, obviously, that they found nothing that told them what happened? Or are they having to wait for other additional testing to see whether maybe the baby died of asphyxiation or something like that?
Well, the coroner knows this is a high-profile case. The coroner put out a press release in this case mentioning that more microscopic testing is going to have to be done. One would think that if there had been obvious signs of trauma, that would have been reported, because you would know that immediately. If you're a medical examiner, within the first few minutes of examining the...
Now, that's not necessarily true, because I'm taking this training this week, and one block that we've done so far is infant abuse. And we were told by some very, very prominent pathologists, coroners, and district attorneys that specialize in prosecuting infant mortality cases. We're talking about some of the top in the nation, guys. All right. That you don't necessarily see trauma right out the gate on babies. You have to do CAT scans and x-rays and stuff like that a lot of times to see the trauma that babies have, experienced, resulting in their death. So I disagree with this attorney. That's maybe how he feels from his experience, and I do respect his education and his experience. But I am a professional as well, and I also get training from very, very, very accomplished individuals, and it is their belief that that is not the case. So just in a few minutes of looking at the child, you cannot determine whether trauma was inflicted on the child. You need to do advanced testing, which includes CAT scans and x-rays, to really see if their bones broken, etc., etc., etc. Let's keep going.
Body, you would know whether there was any external trauma. The harder part, as we all know, being familiar with the birth process, is if the child died because of asphyxia, did that happen while the birth was happening, perhaps with a cord wrapped around its neck? We've all heard about that.
Wow.
Or after.
And my oldest, the cord was wrapped around her neck. And it's, I've seen all kinds of stuff in my life. Even before going into law enforcement, I grew up in the hood. I saw people get shot, people hurt, people stabbed, a lot of stuff. Murder. I've seen murders before. It's just really sad. For the first time in my life, I almost passed out. I've never, ever felt that way before or since that moment. When my beautiful baby came out of her mother with the cord wrapped around her neck and she wasn't moving, I think she was sleeping. I don't think it was wrapped around to the point where it stopped her from breathing. I just think she came out that way, but she was sleeping. The blood sucked out of my head. It's a feeling you'll never forget. Some people pass out all the time. They know exactly what I'm talking about. Some people, it happened one time in their life, like me. Some people, it never happened to them. I didn't pass out, but I was about to pass out. The blood sucked out of my head, and I was getting ready to just fall out. It was only because this doctor was so good. She moved so fast. She cut the cord, bop, 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 and slapped my daughter. Boom. Slapped her so hard, and then she started screaming, that the blood finally came back. If it was 1 millisecond more, I'd have hit the deck, and I probably would have woke up after the baby was already wrapped up and chilling with mommy. I'd have woke up in my own gurney, in my own room. It is, seeing that was, at that point in my life, the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life. The thinking that my baby was gone because the cord was wrapped around her neck. Thank God that was not the case. A little while ago, I took myself off the screen and I muted myself because that girl is now almost 18 years old. In another month or two, she's going to be 18 years old. And she came in from work to give me a hug and tell me that she loves me. Thank God for that doctor's professionalism and skill to get that cord from off her neck quickly, slapping the crap out of her. Slapped her so hard, I never needed to slap that girl again. She never got a spanking after that for her whole life because the doctor gave her all the spanking she needed. She was a good kid. She continued, and she's become, I say was because she's about to be a good woman, in my hope, in my opinion. She's not a kid anymore in 2 months. But yeah, it was scary. It was real scary. Let's keep going.
I think it's a boy. This little boy was
boy.
born, and that's why you need more serious testing. Was the baby breathing before it wasn't breathing, and different parts of the body should show that to the medical examiner. But even if none of that happens, what's interesting is this tampering charge, which I presume is putting the baby in a trash bag where it couldn't be found. That's probably the tampering charge. The abuse of a corpse is simply not taking care of a corpse in the respectful way that we all expect corpses to be treated, and then failure to report a pregnancy. There are enough charges for which the evidence is obvious already to put this woman in prison for at least a few years. The maximum, I think, would be 11 years. I'd be shocked if she got a term like that on these facts.
Right.
Now, if the baby was born alive and crying and she kills the baby, it's a whole different sentence. But on these charges, if this prosecutor wants to hold this young woman accountable, there's enough there to send her for anywhere up to 11 years. If I were the judge, I wouldn't do 11 years. I think probably 3 or 4 is probably appropriate. But that's what we have so far, just on the facts known to date.
Wow. I just think to myself, if the baby died during childbirth and it was the result of the cord being wrapped around the neck of the child, the baby, the infant, I would think that would look different on autopsy than had the baby been asphyxiated after birth. I could be wrong about that, because maybe then the baby would still have the fluid and everything in his nose and mouth and everything. You know what happens when babies are born. You have to clean all that stuff out. But I'm just like thinking to myself, maybe it is because of the high profile nature of the case. The coroner doesn't want to get it wrong, because if you recall, there was a big mix up, a big bad thing that happened in the Skylar Richardson case, where it just jumbled up the whole thing. I don't want to get too far into the weeds in that, but the forensic anthropologist told the cops one thing and then came back and said, oh yeah, not so much. And it was just a whole mess with that case. So I'm just trying to think to myself, what on earth they could find in this further testing, the microscopic testing, the toxicology that is going to reveal the cause of death. So obviously I'm not a toxicologist or a forensic pathologist, but I just can't get over the number of cases we see, Mark, where young women are giving birth. I just covered one earlier this week from Georgia. Thank God the baby was found alive in the dumpster there. And now that baby is in the custody and care of, the children's services. But the number of young women who are doing this,
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably a lot higher than we realize. And that scares me.
It does. And let's take this opportunity, because Long Crime has many young women viewers and listeners. And everyone needs to know that most states, including Kentucky, has a law that says that if you have a baby and you don't want this baby, if you bring the baby to a safe place, like a fire station that has firefighters and EMTs inside,
Or
like
a police
hospital,
station or
police
a
station.
hospital.
If you just take those steps, you will not be charged with anything. The baby will be taken care of immediately. And here's what's important. There are thousands.
Right. So people are saying in the chat, and they're 100% correct, that Laken Snelling did take pictures of herself. She took selfies of herself when she gave birth. This is absolutely diabolical. This young lady is sick. She's a sick young woman. Kentucky cheerleader Laken Snelling took selfies while giving birth, then popped out to grab McDonald's. Kentucky cheerleader Laken Snelling snapped selfies as she secretly delivered her baby before allegedly leaving it in a closet as she popped out to grab McDonald's, according to police. Snelling phone had images of her during labor, photos of her doing things ordinary pregnant women should not be doing, according to newly unsealed court documents obtained by People magazine. The recovered photos of her in labor were later deleted in an attempt to hide the birth. The affidavit said the investigators believe other images may have been successfully destroyed before her arrest. This is just diabolical and disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. Like, the more we dig deep into this, the more it's like this girl is sick and probably did something horrible to that baby. Big shout out to Lasagna Lemonade with a $5 super chat. Says, I need to catch up on this case. What the funk? I got you. And big shout out to Lasagna, who gave 1 gift membership to a lucky person. Please make sure that you thank Lasagna, whoever got that gift membership. How do you explain this? How do you explain her taking selfies of her giving birth? After giving birth, Snelling allegedly stuffed the baby boy in a trash bag. You got a little baby boy, man. Boys are so much fun. Girls are fun too, but you got a boy, man. You'd have had a whole lot of fun with that little boy. He'd have been the apple of your eye, Laken. You're so stupid. Oh, let's keep going. And went to McDonald's for a bite, according to the affidavit. It was unclear exactly when or how the baby died. While she was out, Snelling's roommate, who had heard disturbing noises from her room the night before, snuck into her bedroom and found a blood-soaked towel on the floor and a plastic bag containing evidence of childbirth. This roommate is a hero, because Laken would have got rid of that child. She would have thrown that baby in a dumpster, and guess what? We would have never known that this child ever existed. We would have never known that that baby boy ever existed. Laken would have got rid of that evidence. And she'd have moved on with her life, got married, got her White House with a picket fence, got her career, doing whatever it is she wanted to do. She probably ended up being a neonatal nurse or something like that. And nobody would have ever known that she's a murderer, allegedly. Let's keep going. They later found the baby cold to the touch in the closet and called 911, according to the affidavit. Snelling initially told cops the baby fell on the floor after she gave birth, but she didn't think he was breathing or alive, according to the affidavit. Snelling allegedly told cops that, believing the baby to be dead, she wrapped the baby like a burrito and laid next to it on the floor because it gave her a little comfort in the moment, according to the affidavit. She woke up at around 7:30 a.m. and placed the baby in a trash bag. She then showered, cleaned up the blood, and placed the placenta in a Ziploc bag before skipping her morning classes and the visit to the school clinic for McDonald's. Wow. She then admitted to medical staff that the newborn baby had shown a little bit of fetal movement and made a whimper after he was born, the court documents state. So she told the cops that the baby was dead. Then she told medical staff that the baby was alive. The photos that were taken while she was in labor were deleted in an attempt to hide the birth, the affidavit said, and investigators believe there could be additional images that were also removed from her phone before her arrest. Snelling was charged with concealing the birth of an infant, tampering with physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse, charge to which she has since pleaded not guilty. After her initial court appearance, Snelling withdrew from Kentucky school as no longer a member of the stunt team. She remains under house arrest. Diabolical, ladies and gentlemen. Diabolical. Let's keep going. We're getting there.
New details have emerged in the case of Laken Snelling, the former UK student athlete accused of leaving her dead baby in a trash bag in her closet.
Jace Obardo is in studio with new information on this case.
Yeah, guys, Snelling briefly appeared in court this morning where she waived her right to a preliminary hearing, sending this case to a grand jury. Earlier today, we obtained this affidavit from Lexington Police that details new information, which, among other things, reveals Snelling believed her baby was alive when she gave birth to it last month. Laken Snelling's time as a member of the University of Kentucky's stunt team took a grim turn in August. The 21-year-old faces multiple criminal charges, including concealing the birth of an infant, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with physical evidence, charges she's pleaded not guilty to. New information obtained in an affidavit reveals what could have happened to this baby. The documents say Snelling had a Snapchat group text called The Trap at Park with her roommates for their Park Avenue home. On August,
they called the Park Avenue home The Trap. The Trap. Oh boy. Is that like an AKA for her vagina or something? The Trap? Or a trap house where people use drugs and do all kinds of crazy things. I don't know.
27th, around 4 o'clock in the morning, one roommate sent a message saying she heard loud noises. Another roommate said the noises even knocked a picture off the wall. At 8:48 a.m., Snelling sent a message to the group saying the noises were caused from her passing out. She blamed it on not feeling well and not eating. She told them she was going to see a doctor. The roommates entered Snelling's room where they found a blood-soaked towel on the floor and a plastic bag containing evidence that a child was born. When they looked in Snelling's closet, they say they found a full-term baby inside a black trash bag, dead. Lexington Police dispatch reports show that the initial 911 call came in around 10:30 a.m. on August 27th, in which the caller reported finding a baby boy whose body was, quote, cold to the touch. The affidavit includes information from conversations Snelling had at UK Hospital where she confessed to giving birth to a baby in her bedroom. According to the document, Snelling said she stayed awake for about 30 minutes after giving birth, then passed out on top of the baby. When she woke up, she saw the infant was turning blue and purple. Believing he was dead, Snelling said she wrapped him up in a towel and lay next to him on the floor because it gave her comfort. When Snelling woke up to her alarm at 7:30 a.m., she noticed she was still bloody, so she took a shower and then cleaned the blood on the floor. The affidavit says Snelling put the placenta inside a Ziploc bag and placed it inside a black trash bag in her closet. Snelling later went to campus but did not go to class and changed her mind about going to the UK student clinic. Instead, she went back home where she was later arrested. The affidavit says Snelling told medical staff at UK Labor and Delivery that the baby did have a little bit of fetal movement, made a whimper, and she, quote, guessed it was alive. That was right before she passed out.
She is
a
clueless.
search warrant of Snelling's phone also uncovered...
We got to stop raising these kids to be clueless. Some of these kids are so sheltered, like this whole airhead thing. You really, really, really handicapping your children if they're leaving your home and they're an airhead. She sounds like an airhead. I guess he was alive. I don't know. Like, if you see a child acting like that, you need to start having some powerful conversations with that child. You need to start getting them into some type of, programs and stuff to kind of build their confidence and kind of make them a little bit more mature and worldly. You're a failure of a parent if your child is leaving your house to go to college and they're a freaking airhead. She seems like a airhead to me. I guess. Yeah, I guess the baby was, it moved a little bit, I guess. And guess what? Her airheadedness made her make statements to multiple people that might end up, and I'm not trying to defend her. I'm not trying to help her. You guys know I don't help the bad guys, but I'm dissecting it as a person who deals with cases. Her airheadedness pretty much is going to end up with her doing some time. Because if she had any type of wherewithal about her, she had any type of street smart, any type of maturity, she'd have known not to do the things that she did, not to say the things that she did. First off, she probably would have just went to the hospital, gave birth, and gave the baby up for adoption. That's it. And get first world-class aftercare, after birth care. Took a couple days off from class. Went back to class like nothing happened. Get her degree and move on with her life. And guess what? It's a high probability that somebody would have adopted that baby. The problem with adoption is when they're not infants. People want to adopt infants. That they're in high demand. The problem is when they're older than like 2, 3, or 4 years old. That's when you start having the issue that we're having in this country where nobody wants to adopt these children. Infants, that baby would have been adopted in a month. That baby would have been adopted in a month. Most likely to middle class to upper middle class parents where that child would have had a great life. Hopefully, God willing. If the adoption agencies are doing their job, the child would have had a good life. All she had to do was acknowledge that she's pregnant. I'm not saying, I'm not telling people what to believe. I have my own beliefs on these things, but the options exist. She could have gone to any one of those surrounding states other than Tennessee and gotten an abortion if that's what she wanted to do. She could have gotten that prenatal care, went to the hospital when she felt contractions, gave birth in a controlled and safe environment, and give that baby up. She could have bring the baby back to the dorm and tested it out for a day or two. I hate to sound like this, like a baby is a car or something like that, but she certainly treated that baby like it was trash. She could have brought the baby back to the dorm after she gave birth from the hospital and tested out being a mom for a couple of days. And if she chose she didn't want to be a mom anymore, like we said in the beginning of this live, Kentucky allows you to turn a baby in up to 3 years old with no consequence. She could have brought the baby right back to the same hospital she gave birth to, or took the baby to a police station or a firehouse and walked away. They're called safe havens. Thank you, chat. Walked away. I think in Kentucky they have the actual bins. Like there's these specially made bins that you don't even go inside of the police station or inside of the firehouse. You put the baby in the bin and you close it and it locks and you can't open it again. It's over. And the bin is climate controlled and it has everything in there to make sure the baby's safe and it's cushioned. And there's a special alarm that rings in multiple places that baby's not abandoned there. That nobody can say, oh, I didn't know the baby. So that the cop or the firefighter can't say, I didn't know baby was in there. The alarm rings inside of the precinct or the firehouse. The alarm rings inside of a hospital. And the alarm rings in the child protective services too. Everybody knows that there's a baby inside of that bin. And you walk away and that's it. You don't got to worry about it. It's over. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate she made those choices.
Search history pertaining to pregnancy. Now, Snelling has withdrawn from the University of Kentucky and is living with her parents in Tennessee under home incarceration. When Snelling is before the grand jury, it will be a private hearing where she could be indicted. If that happens, her charges could be amended or some could be added based on testimony shared in court.
Interesting stuff. Let's keep going. Laken Snelling rumors allegedly heard the noises at 4 a.m. Then found the evidence of the childbirth. Good article, but we already went through this on an article that we read before, so we don't need to go through it again. I also have work in the morning, so I do have to get out of here. This is, it's Banfield. All right, so this is Banfield. We're going to skip over to the part that's relevant for us. That's going to be the 5-minute mark here. Big shout out to the research crew. Helps me put this stuff together. Makes my life a whole lot easier. You guys know how busy I am. How profoundly busy I am in my day job, in my career. It's very hard. And I hope you guys notice the step up in quality of the show now that we have help. And we have not just help, but competent help, good help. We appreciate them. Members of the research crew, we appreciate you. You guys helping us do the Lord's work by giving a voice to the voiceless. And in turn, you're doing the Lord's work too. You're being a part of that process. I just can't thank him enough. Please make sure you give that coffee and support the channel. Hit that link up there. Give the coffee. Let's keep going.
Roommates claim to have been in the dark about her condition all along. Laken had been Googling quote, different things pertaining to pregnancy and had used, quote, different hashtags for different weeks pregnant on social media. Which makes me wonder, how in the dark were these roommates? Don't they follow their roommate on social media? Police also found pictures of Laken, quote, doing things that ordinary pregnant women would not be doing. And there's no explanation in the affidavit, but we kind of wondered if it was this. These were the pictures that we aired a while back, showing Laken Snelling in the cheerleading stunt team. She's a member that...
Yeah, when you see the way she is right now, she got a baby in there, man. There's definitely a baby in that belly. You mean a dude that was smashing her didn't know that she had a baby in her belly? Like you having sex with her. You see her naked. Like if she don't want to get naked, you're not asking no questions like, yo, baby, why you don't want to get naked for? Why we having sex and you got a North Face winter coat on? And it's summertime in Kentucky. What's up with that? Like, you don't see her and say, you got my baby? What's happening? Like you're not laying down next to her because she's wearing this baby well. You still see she's pregnant, but she's wearing the baby well. You're not laying down next to your girl, cuddling in the bed, and you don't feel your son punching you in your stomach or your legs. You know, like I have 3 kids, and it's almost like an alien. Like you can see the hands pushing through the stomach. You see the foot. You just sitting there. You just see the stomach go like this. You didn't see that she had something growing in her, bro. Like if you didn't think it was a kid, you didn't think that it was these UFOs that's flying around that we got to do a show on, but I didn't do the show yet because I don't got my tinfoil hat. I got to make a new tinfoil hat. You didn't see that she had alien nation in her belly, or quite possibly your child. You had to see something. He just didn't care. He didn't care. And there's other changes that happen with women. Everything down there changes too. So you didn't notice that her JJ was looking really different? Because the JJ looks different. Maybe y'all can't see it because you got the big belly there, but guys can see it. A lot of things had to go wrong. Well, not wrong, but a lot of people had to be looking the other way to not notice that this, 5'6" girl? She looked like she's smaller than that. I don't know. I heard somebody say 5'6", so I'm assuming that. But in some of her pictures, she looked like she 5'2". Nobody noticed that this girl was with child. Amazing, ladies. Amazing. Oh, my God. Let's keep going.
That's slipping and tumbling at a meet that would have put her, by the date of this meet, at about 5 months pregnant. And get this, police also found pictures that Laken took of herself while in labor. Those were not posted to social media. In fact, those were not easy for the police to find. I bet you know why I'm about to tell you, right? They were not easy for the police to find because they were deleted. Police say Laken told them that she gave birth at 4 o'clock in the morning on August 27th. She said the baby fell to the floor of her bedroom. And the roommates actually told police they heard that. Now, they didn't know what it was.
I got to tell you, I know Laken thought about possibly posting this stuff because this generation is nuts. They're obsessed with social media. I'm on social media because I'm trying to build a business. True Crime with Strategic. Hopefully one day enough people will watch it. I can retire from being a detective, do this full time, and it would be worthwhile for me to do it. Certainly not worthwhile now, ladies and gentlemen. When I got to pay a bill, I got to work overtime at the job, okay? But we're trying. We're trying. These people don't think about social media as possibly doing something you love and also getting paid for it. They look at it as a way of life. I guarantee you, she thought about posting those pictures. Why else would you be taking selfies while you're giving birth? Make it make sense.
Laken told police she didn't think the baby was alive, but she didn't stick to that claim. And I'm going to come back to that in just a second. She said a half hour later, she, quote, passed out on top of the child and woke up to find the boy, quote, turning blue and purple, end quote. She said she wrapped the baby up, quote, like a burrito and lay next to him on the floor, quote, because it gave her a little comfort in the moment, end quote. And here's what else the affidavit tells us. Laken slept until her alarm went off at 7:30 in the morning. And police say she then wrapped the baby in a towel, put the towel in the trash bag, and put the trash bag in her closet, and then took a shower. After that, police say she cleaned up a little bit more, stashing the placenta in a Ziploc bag, which police say she stashed in the closet with the baby.
Why did she put the placenta in a Ziploc bag? Like, why didn't she just put it in a garbage bag? Like, why did it get its own special bag? That kind of matters to me. It's I don't know. It's very involved. It's very involved. I don't know. I mean, she could have just put everything in one bag, and that would seem like the most expedient thing to do. But she didn't do that. I don't know.
And then they say she drove to the University of Kentucky campus, but did not go to class. Instead, she ordered food from McDonald's, and after eating, drove to the student clinic. But then, curious,
oh my Lord,
did not enter the.
You guys are the worst. Miss Melanie 83 says she was gonna blend it up and make a mask strategic. Wow. I don't know if we could put that past her. I don't know her, but I'm just saying this generation is screwed. And I always thought that I would never be that old guy, because that's what the old folks used to say about my generation. But I think they was just a little bit salty. I think it is fair to say that this generation is nuts. If you're between 16 and 25 right now, you're nuts. I'm sorry. You're nuts. This generation is nuts. Like, look at all the murders happening right now. Look at the gangsters on the street. It's not 30 and 40-year-olds shooting people in Chicago and New York and St. Louis and Louisiana. It's 15 and 16-year-olds. 15 and 16-year-olds. Like, this generation is nuts. They're dangerous. It's not even like they're nuts amongst each other. Like, I'm scared of them. Like, I'm not walking past them without my gun. Like, I step on a 17-year-old Douglas shoes. I'm saying, yo, I'm sorry. Then I'm like getting a tissue. I'm licking it. Like, let me wipe that off, bro. I'm sorry, man. And I got the gun. And I'm still scared. I'm wiping off their Air Force Ones. Like, yo, my fault, man. I didn't mean to step on those Air Force Ones. Let me wipe that off. Let me clean that for you. You all right, bro? You good? Yo, here's $20. Go buy yourself some Chinese food. I'm scared because these kids are crazy. Let's keep going. And she's one of them. She's 21. She's nuts.
The building. According to police, she instead went back home, by which time her secret was out. So police took her in, but then they took her to the University of Kentucky Hospital where, and I want to read this actually verbatim because it's important. Ms. Snelling told medical staff that the baby made a whimper and that she, quote, guessed the baby was alive.
I guess.
This is where I'm going to stop, and I'm going to bring in Mark Aragos, defense attorney, podcaster, and longtime friend.
All right, so we'll leave it here. Big shout out to Ashley Banfield, News Nation. Please go check it out. We're gonna start being more vigilant about putting links about we mostly we'll always place links for YouTube content creators, like independent creators that we may use. Chronicle Speaks, all these different people, Plunder, Grizzly, whatever we may use. When it's from content creators, we always put the links inside of our description. But we're going to soon be a little bit more vigilant about putting the links of Law and Crime and places like that so that you could go ahead and watch the whole thing for yourself uninterrupted by me. We're going to leave this one here. You guys have been amazing. We have 275 people watching us right now, 256 likes. If you haven't liked the show, please like the show now. Take the opportunity to do that. Please also, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to us yet, please subscribe to True Crime with Strategic. I'm an active duty detective. My job is to give a voice to the voiceless, and I investigate special victim crimes. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I can't say the other word that you can call the type of investigations I do because YouTube will censor the show by saying those words. We also have a membership. We are encouraging you guys to join the membership. The membership helps us bring revenue into the show. That's just being honest with you, because so many of our videos are oftentimes demonetized. The members help supplement that. And we also give exclusive content to the members and members only lives as well. We also have a Patreon where we're a little bit more raw, a little bit more real. We don't have any moderation on the Patreon. We can say whatever we want. And so that's a place that I feel safe in. And I really love doing content for the Patreon. Consider joining the Patreon. But lastly, we have our Strategic Eyes store. And the Strategic Eyes store right now has a sale. Right now has a sale. And you can find a link to that store inside of the description of our show. We have t-shirts starting at $16. Let me see if I can bring that up right now. T Republic, I believe. Starting at T Public. Starting at $16. It's a great deal ladies and gentlemen. I'm going ahead and bringing it up right now for you guys. View our store. Perfect. So we have two stores that are both run by TeePublic. I don't know why they do this, but they do it. One is called Dashery. It's the True Crime with Strategic Dashery store. And there's also the True Crime with Strategic TeePublic store. Oftentimes, the Dashery store is cheaper than the TeePublic store. But TeePublic is running a sale, and look at these prices. $16 for the tinfoil hat Strategic Eyes t-shirt. 4 days left. 4 days left on this sale. All right. Everything here, whatever the design is, you can get it with multiple things. So for instance, Let's Keep Going t-shirt, right? That's the t-shirt. I love it. It's awesome. If you do it, you can also get additional percentages off. Go to TeePublic. It's worth it. You can get it in all types of different colors. Look at that. I'm also going to purchase some of these shirts, so that we can give them away when we get to 100,000 subscribers. Look at this, especially if you're in California. We got a lot of California viewers. Wouldn't this be a nice sunny state shirt? California, Florida, Texas, this nice, bright, beautiful shirt. I like this. I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to give it away to somebody. I'm going to get it as small. I don't just want somebody to get this shirt. I want somebody to be sexy in this shirt. I'm just joking. You can look sexy in a large too. I'm just joking. I'm just teasing. Please don't beat me up. All right. Not only that, right? But the one of the beautiful things about TeePublic is not only can you get that in this t-shirt, you get it vintage. You get it in tall for people who are tall. Premium if you want to pay a little bit extra. Once again, we got a sale. So if you want that premium fabric, it's just $22 instead of $30. You get it in V-neck, $20, whatever. Activewear if you want to work out in the True Crime Strategic and you want that wickening technology, $18 for a active style t-shirt. Guys, it's worth it. Go on over here, show love to the channel, support us. We have all types of different styles, all that good stuff. Massive sale. Take advantage of the sale. Support the channel. I love you guys. You see that they keep getting all these pop-ups for all these different percentages. Take advantage. The link will be inside of the description. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the link is inside of the chat for you beautiful people. I'm going to do that right now because I think we only have the dashes. I'm going to make sure I'm going to put the TeePublic link as well inside of the link tree so that you can have access to that store as well. All right. So we're putting the link here inside of the chat. Go do your thing. A Obsidian is on it. She's awesome. Oh my God. You're so quick. How did I doubt that our moderator would drop that link in 2 seconds? But anyway, show love to the channel. Other than that, you guys are amazing. You know, we're going to try something interesting here. Supposedly, I'm supposed to be able to segue this into a members only live. Supposedly. All right. So we're going to, I'll do that another time. But supposedly YouTube is now allowing us creators to segue from a live show for everybody to see to a members only show. And that live show will still be available to everybody in the public. But then the part where you turn into members only the members are able to see that. I don't want to experiment with that right now. We'll do a test show and we'll experiment with it to make sure that it's smooth and all that. I don't want to do that with this because I don't want to take this show away from the general public. I want you guys to see it. I want to give a voice to the voices of this nameless young boy who never had a chance because his mother did not do the right thing by him, and his mother is Laken Snelling. So anyway, guys, we love you guys immensely. You guys are amazing. I'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.